Hello again. This is Miri coming at you with a anime speed paint today. I was painting, drawing. Yeah, I watched this anime called Charlotte, and I will put up times to skip for spoilers and stuff because I'm probably going to talk about the whole of this anime, not just the start of it. Uh, can I call this an anime review recommendation thing? I don't know. I still don't have a script. I'll never have a script. That's a lie. I might one day. But if I call it an anime review, I'll surely get more attention, right? Anyway, Charlotte is about kids with superhuman abilities. I'd nearly call them superpowers, though they're not really labeled as such. These kids have these miraculous powers that kind of barely are anything of interest. So the main character, this dude, oh god, I forget their names. I'm gonna have to pull that up. So this anime centers around Yu Otosaka, and his ability is he can possess people for 10 seconds, just 10 seconds tops, and then he can't really do anything. And the main girl character, Tomori, her power is to keep one person from seeing her, so she's invisible from one person at a time. And most people have abilities like that they'll it's a very cool ability, but then they can't use it to the full extent that your everyday superhero would, I suppose. Yu has his ability and he uses it to cheat on all his tests. So, Tomori and another character with powers of these sorts, they come and they get him and they take him to this school for kids who are like them. And with that, you learn that these sort of abilities only last in adolescence and they lose them in adulthood, which I'm assuming means they lose them when they turn 18, because that makes the most sense in this context. Particularly with this drawing, Yu is labeled as supposing to be very attractive, and I don't know what an attractive high school Japanese boy looks like. So for drawing this, I was like, how the heck do I make him look? Because I have different standards than other people, and so I just drew him pretty generically, I suppose. But he's supposed to be this attractive boy who wanted it all. He wanted brains and smarts, but he doesn't have them, so that's why he cheated on tests by memorizing their answers. They meet a variety of characters, and all these kids have these special abilities. There's one dude who can just fly, which honestly is a fine ability, quite frankly. But there's another dude who can take pictures and take pictures of layers underneath to basically take panty shots. Creepy, but okay. It's an interesting concept. The reason I started this anime was because it was made by the same people who made Angel Beats. And Angel Beats was my first anime, so I'm slightly partial to it. And this anime feels a lot like that, especially when you get to the ending, where it feels like there was a big twist that really makes the whole. I didn't like the twist in this. Angel Beats' twist was kind of meh to me too. The twist doesn't make it much better. It makes it. It doesn't always hurt it, but it feels like the twist makes the sort of themes of the anime feel like they change significantly, which I don't completely appreciate. And it changes the tone a lot. These powers only last in adolescence. They're described as a disease, which makes no sense, quite frankly. They should have labeled it as something else, because a disease implies hurt on the body. This really doesn't hurt them. They have to keep it secret, though, because, ooh, big bad government is trying to find them and test all their abilities. Ooh, spooky. But it's labeled as a disease. Really doesn't make sense. Here come the spoilers, though. So I'll put a timestamp for whenever I stop ranting about that. Basically, what we learn is that what causes these powers comes from a meteor that passes every few hundred years or something like that. Or maybe less, because I feel like they said that passed over when these kids were younger and was going to pass over again. They're making a vaccine for it. Which, how does a disease come off of a meteor? For one thing, it only affects the adolescents. But basically, Yu has this brother who can turn back time, and it turns out Yu's power is in fact not just snatching people's bodies for 10 seconds, but it actually is to take their ability. Yu's sister dies at one point, and then he takes his brother's power to use it to get his sister back. He then goes around the world to take everyone's power away, all their abilities away, and he slowly loses his mind. And that was kind of what I didn't like too well, because I just didn't like how he lost it. It didn't. This anime has a lot of trouble with portraying the passage of time, I feel, because I have no clue how long anything took for these people. I really don't. So, he goes around the world and somehow takes every power from every single child that has it, which honestly might be putting them in worse situations, but who asked me, I guess. Just talking about the concept of this anime now, I was interested in it because it was like Angel Beats, and then you have this interesting concept of powers that come in adolescence. And they say it's during a vulnerable time in people's lives. So what I was really hoping this anime was going to go for is that these kids are vulnerable and they have traumatic experiences that make them open up to accept these sort of abilities, and their abilities would play into their trauma in some way or be affected by their trauma, like in Tomori's case, where she can turn invisible for one person at a time. That could easily help in a bad household. Or the ability to snatch someone's bodies for 10 seconds can help you understand other people or make things play in your favor. I was hoping for more things like that, but that didn't happen at all. It ended up being just a disease, in air quotes. How was it a disease? I do not understand. I feel like it really would have been cool commentary about PTSD and childhood traumas, and I wish that's where this anime went, but it didn't, and it went nowhere close to that. And I suppose it was a fine anime. Would I recommend it? I think so. The animation is actually very lovely. It's very interesting. The characters are fun. The relationships are interesting. It's an interesting concept. I always have a lot of interest in media that delves into mental health and mental issues and things of that nature. Like, one of my favorite books is probably my favorite book because it talks about mental health in such a relatable way. But I feel like this anime could have easily had the potential to talk about that. Is it a fine anime on its own? Sure. Maybe it was just the dub that made me have higher expectations for the later episodes than it should have. If you want to watch it, if a bunch of kids running around with superpowers sounds cool to you, it was a compelling anime. I enjoyed watching it. It's not very long, which, like, we're all stuck in the house bored. It's like 14, 15 episodes, one season, about 24 minutes each. It's a fine series. Most of my issues with it are just simply disappointments of what it could have been. And it could have been this really cool topic about childhood trauma. And I understand why they wouldn't want to do that, but I felt kind of led on at the end of the day. Because they could have done that, and it could have been so interesting, in my opinion. But alas, it is just an anime about kids with weird powers, and I've never been into superheroes, so, like, even the concept of superhero-ness, they don't even go into that idea. It's just more about these kids live irregular lives because of these abilities they got at a young age. It definitely was a good anime. It was well written, well animated. So, unless you're like me and get overly salty about what could have been there, No need to fret over it. It was a fine anime. So would I recommend it? I guess. It was fine. I would even say it's good. It's better than some of the other mainstream animes, I think. I don't watch many mainstream animes. That's about all I can rant about, besides going into heavy detail about the plot and spoilers, but as an overview, it's a fine anime and it's interesting and it's probably worth your time, so I'd recommend it. So, thanks for dropping in and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.